Hey, what's the story? In this box could be the most functional cage for a camera yet. This is from a company called Falcam, and this is their cage for the Sony ZV-E1, but they do a ton of cages and devices and accessories for all other cameras as well. So let's find out, is this thing going to be a beast? Because in these boxes, yeah, they go with this. And let me tell you, if you're all about functionality and ease of use, this could be the one. So, Sony ZV-E1 is here. Let's get the lens off and get the cage on. Now, what you do get in the box from Falcam is this little Ziploc bag. You've got a screw, an Allen key, and a handy little device like this, which we can use for screwing things. So, lens has to come off. All is really important with any cage. 99% of the time, the lens has to come off. So I'm going to get the camera on here really quickly. Slots in, nice and easy. Because I'm nervous about the sensor, I'm going to get the lens back on really quickly. So we put the camera down, and then inside in the bag here, we've got that. We've got these. Now, there is one big difference between this Falcam cage and something like a small rig cage or any of the other cages that are out there. Now, first off, we're going to get our screw in here. So we're tightening this in here. This is getting the cage onto the camera, and it goes on nice and tight like anything would. And that's essentially the cage on. It's done, right? So if we look here, all of our doors and all of those nice things, they still open without issue. There is no issue with the HDMI or any of those. So always a good thing to check, because sometimes cages can just, there's really precision engineering in this. So that's the cage on. Now there is one substantial difference straight off the bat here, and that is the smaller rig cage has got an extended grip. So you're only stuck with the grip that's on the Sony ZV-E1 right off the bat, which again, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it is nice to have that extra big thing. But that could be the trade-off for this huge super functionality on this cage. Because if we look all over this cage, we have F22 written. Now, for those of you that are aware of Falcam, F22 is their kind of clamping release system, and it works really well. So let's get into this. So I've got some of these here. And by the way, for full disclosure, Falcam did send me all of these. Said you want to review it. That's it. They didn't tell me to say whether it's good or bad or the other. So first up here is the handle, right? So you know, a lot of handles, they're fiddly. You've got to screw them, and you've got to do this, that, and the other, and you've got to screw them on and twist them and all that jazz. So we get this nice case, and to be fair, this case is kind of a plush inside. Kind of looks like a case that you'd have your spectacles in, but nonetheless, it's nice to have these types of cases that if you do want to kind of strip down the gear, you can get it in these, and you know, because they're labeled at the back and they're nice and kind of safe and sound of what's going on with them. With this handle, and essentially this is the handle. This is the handle. It is absolutely tiny, but it does feel really good. So we've got some extra bits inside here. So the initial setup is what you've got going on. So let's get this handle on. Again, the setup here, you got all the tools in the box as you would expect. So we've got little 2 screws. We've got another Allen key. Buy a set of Allen keys, because this will be lost by the end of this video. I hope not. So all we got to do here, we've got our handle. We've got a slot here. This goes in here like that, really easily. And then we just screw these in, and yeah, put this on, and that's kind of it really. So once you get this screwed in, and look, yeah, this isn't my strength, but nonetheless, you got some wiggle room here, so you got to figure out where you want it. I would suggest having the connection here, or the grip, or the clamp, whatever you want to call it, kind of somewhere in the middle, and then you can kind of change things around whenever you need to. And as we can see, these things screw in eventually. I still hate this thing, Falcam. I know somebody's saying, just shut up, you big child, shut up. You've got free product. You've probably got other Allen keys somewhere. Why don't you use that? Well, I'm not using it, so anymore. Right, so here we have got our handle on. Now, first steps here, like this does feel really good. Now, where this camera system comes into its own, to get this on the camera and the cage, it's really, really simple here. Couldn't actually be any easier even for an idiot like me. So there's no screwing or anything like that. So either side here, we have these F22 mounts. There's one here, there's one here. And then all we gotta do is just make sure the kind of teeth are connected in. That's it. It's on. Look at this. Look. Please don't fall off. Now, if we want to get it off, done. So, super functionality if you want to set up your gear or break it down really quickly. Look how easy this is. Now, this does feel really good in the hand, except I put it on backwards. So, simple thing is we can just put it on the other side. And up the top here, we have more F22 mounts, so we can put even more stuff on this. And we've got cold shoe mounts. We have 1/4" thread there as well if you need it, and RE locating pins if you need it, which you probably shouldn't, because all of this stuff here is designed that you don't have to screw anything in. It's just push in and a button to release. Now, a lot of people wouldn't think about putting a handle on the Sony ZV-E1 because it's a kind of a small camera, but handles, especially a top handle, gives you extra stability. I'm just going to get this on again. There's no screwing anything in. Look, it's just going on, and that's it. It's on. It's in the system. Boom, done. And then we have our handle here, and it's as easy as sliding it the other way. Let's get on the other camera. Boom, done. Okay, that's it. I mean, look at this for stability. This is absolutely insane. And get it off, press the release button, boom, it's on. So we're setting stuff up here really quickly. We have a 1/4" thread up here as well. Now, they did send some other stuff. What else have we got here? This is the Falcam F22 3" extension magic arm. Now, if you don't know what a magic arm is, these things are absolutely nuts. You might have never heard of them. They're super useful. They're always good to have around. So this little kind of key looking thing here, this, all right, you loosen this, all of these move. You tighten it, none of these move. It's really, I mean, it is magic how it works. It's bonkers. So let's say you had a monitor or whatever else you might have, right? Here's the real magic. The magic arm comes with some more F22 mounts. So what we can do here is take one of these off, really, really tiny, and you can put this onto whatever you want because Falcam do include the screws for this. So all we got to do essentially is put this onto our monitor or whatever else you want to mount here. All we do is screw this in. So that's in there nice and solid as my monitor turns on. It's going, hello, I haven't seen you in a while. And then because we've got an F22 mount on this side, we could put our monitor here. And to show you guys how this goes on so easy, again, F22. So we line it up here and we push on and it's on. That's it, right? And now we can move this around whatever way we want. And as we've got our F22 mount here, we can just slot in our monitor. Look at this. And we can move this whatever way we want because of the ball head that's on the side. And I'm just going to turn this so we can get an extra bit of flexibility. And I mean, look, within seconds, look at this. Monitor is on there. It's right in your eye line, which is really important for position. The handle is free. A lot of folks will mount a monitor on the handle, which can be a distraction. So boom, we've got this going on. And again, super quick to get all of these things off. Press the button, done, off. It's come, it's off, simple. So if you've got any existing F22 gear, they're all going to fit here, which is bonkersly efficient. Now, I have over here, my friends, Falcam are going, please don't show the smaller cage, don't show the smaller cage. We've got the smaller cage. So a couple of small quirks that I have with this really, really efficient cage from Falcam. So it has got one kind of secure mount in here. It's one screw that's putting the whole cage on the camera, which is more than enough in most cases. On the smaller cage, you do have these extra ones here, which are a bit fiddly, but they give just an extra little, you know, bit of confidence, I guess. But again, I've had zero problems with this. Zero, zip, none. Now, the big thing Two things, right? Number one is smaller rig do have the screw included here. It's not loose, you know, in the bag. It's not going to follow like this. So if you are stripping down the cage, you have to keep that kind of in mind, that the screw that's in the bottom, you don't want to lose it. Yeah, you can replace it, but you just don't want to lose it. But the big thing really for me, and it's not a deal breaker if this is your first cage or this is your first, it's not a deal breaker no matter what way you look at it, but having the extra grip here on the Sony ZV-E1, it's just nice to have. It's just a nice thing to have. And you know, I'm not sure why Falcam didn't include that to a degree, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. Now, some of the other functionality here, we have a cold shoe mount here. We have two cold shoe mounts on the smaller rig cage. Again, not a deal breaker. Most folks will probably just run a light or a mic. Now again, you have these extra kind of F22 mounts here that you can put stuff onto if you want. So it's just depending on how you set up your rig. At the bottom, we have these F22, we have an F38 connection as well, and even an F50. So depending on the gear that you're using, all of these systems will work really, really well together. Again, between the two of these, there is not a lot of difference between them. It really comes down to your personal style, but this does feel nice. It's probably not as, what's the word, obtrusive? Is that a word? It's probably not as yeah, anyway. This kind of looks big on the camera. This doesn't, but then that's just an aesthetic thing for most folks, I guess. But it's just a nice touch that you can get all of these things on really, really quickly. A lot of the stuff with the smaller rig one, you've got to screw things in with the Allen key. Now, to be fair, they do include the Allen key or what you need for some of the tools on this. It's this tiny thing which will do these little supports and get the screw out, but anything else you're still going to have to carry an Allen key. So it's just one of those things. What I would have liked to have seen Falcam do is just include somewhere down here at the bottom where you could actually, you know, stick in the little multi-tool device that they give you, maybe on the next iteration of it. But this cage is super, super functional. And the fact that it's just easier to use, to me, just means it has the edge slightly over the small rig one. And again, it's just a nice look. It's kind of, I think this is the charcoal silver. They've got a couple of colors. It's just nice. It's just nice. This kind of wood, I think it's wood. It doesn't feel like wood, but it's quite smooth. There's good grip here. And I mean, like, this is a pretty damn functional cage. So I've left a link in the description for anybody that's thinking of kitting out their gear. There's a ton of cages on the market. And keep in mind, right, when you are putting a cage on your camera, don't skimp on the cost, simply because it's an expensive camera, any camera. It's just not the Sony ZV-E1, and don't just chimp out in the cage, because this thing can and will protect your camera. So just make sure everything is on. And Falcam have amazing quick release plates. I've been using them for quite some time. This F22 system is really, really good. So they've been around. It's not like they're the new kid on the block, but either way, you make up your mind of giving you enough info and B-roll to figure that out, and I'll see you on the next video. Actually, by the way, because this is a Sony ZV-E1 video, if you want to see what the new 4K 120 looks like, and a special bonus slow motion that we never thought would be on the Sony ZV-E1, check out the video here.